Hello everyone, it's been a while since I've done any commentary based videos, but I've been actually getting quite a few requests to do more of these, so I decided that I might as well keep doing these along with the art chats. I only have one of those, so once I get time with Alex, we can record more of those. Anyways, this video is just going to be a simple, I guess, environment painting tutorial with Photoshop. The last one I did was more broad landscape, like sort of like world design. So I was thinking this time would be more of a like specific environment where you could maybe have the background to a or even the foreground to like a character or creature, or whatever you want to put in the space. So I use Mark Molnar's, I don't know how to say it. I'll put his name in the description. His brush pack 2013. There's probably a more updated one. I just haven't bothered getting the new one. I'm gonna go ahead and use. I usually start with the a very rigid, broad. You can do this with. You don't need a brush pack to do this. Just a big, broad, rectangular shaped brush. Really anything works when you start off. And I'm gonna kind of just. Usually I'll begin. Sometimes it depends. I'll do grayscale to start. But since I already know that this is gonna be a really simple painting, I'm just gonna go ahead and do. I'm gonna start with the color, really basic coloring. In this case, I think I was gonna do just a simple sort of ravine scene environment. I guess I could have you could just also just paint bucket tool that. But I'm gonna start getting the general shape of the ravine. It's gonna be pretty dark since there's not a whole lot of light coming down. I'm gonna go with blue. So I guess that's pretty good. I'd go with blue if you're doing like dark shaded areas. Doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna get the simple ravine shape here. I probably brought this up in the last one I did, in the last video, or the last talking one, which was like months ago, but you can. I usually will do darker in the foreground, and then as it gets closer to the back, it'll actually get lighter, just for some atmospheric, just to give the idea of atmosphere. Even like in a really small area, you can still have like fog, even like slight fog built up. So I'm just giving like the idea that this is I guess it's more of a cave actually. Maybe it could be like the bottom of ravine. So I like here's the general shape. I'm gonna go in with a smaller brush now and start putting in where the floor of the cave is, or ravine, or whatever. It'll probably be. I'm gonna highlight it with the blue. That way, it's sort of like the light is reaching down and hitting the floor. And I have just like a smaller textured brush to do this with. I have been getting. If you have any suggestions for the art talks, which I do usually I'll do that with a group of people. If you have any videos that you want to see specifically, you can let me know which ones you want to see me talk about. Because I can go more in depth about how I did like the certain choices I made, or the steps I took to do something. Because I do get lots of questions in the comments about my process, and as much fun as it is to try to type it all out, it's a lot easier for me to just tell you on video. So what I'm doing here is highlighting where the sort of like the edges of the rocks are, or like the sort of cliff face I have. Let me go back to the rectangle brush and actually make this a little bit brighter because it's pretty dull. Ooh, actually, you know what? That's cool. I'm gonna do like, maybe this is like a more of a like a man-made sort of place. It's got a sort of like a gate at the end or something. Maybe, I don't know. I probably shouldn't keep it. I should probably keep it pretty simple for a tutorial video. I don't know. That looks pretty cool though. See, a lot of the things, a lot of my paintings I'll make choices that are completely accidental. No, but I like, actually, you know, we'll keep this. I was gonna have a generic cave, but this is kind of cooler now. Is that? No, let's just keep it aligned for right now. So I guess it's sort of like a cave that leads into a like a temple or something, maybe. That's what's sort of being implied here. And so the end of the sort of horizon line here will just kind of bump into where the floor of the cave begins. And I'll highlight that, the light coming through hitting the ground, and kind of have it fade into nothing back there. So maybe it's more of a path than a. This painting's it's gonna by the end it's gonna be something completely different. I can guarantee. The path is sort of just going into the whatever I think I'm even gonna make it into like some sort of temple or shrine. Have some rocks jut out here. Of course, I'm doing this on one layer. You really shouldn't. You should probably everything you do put on a different layer. It doesn't usually make a big difference to me. It saves me time just not worrying about it actually. So usually I'll just forget and then I'll regret it instantly. But I think this is fine. I don't think I have to worry about it too much here. Especially it's a just tutorial video. I'll probably try to keep it short. Maybe like 20 minutes or half an hour if I can. I actually might make this a little bit darker. There we go. I might also I might add a different color. Monochromatic it works sometimes, but other times it works nicely, and sometimes it doesn't. It's not necessary. Like this could work, I think, monochromatic, but I might try to add some color in here in just a second. Some more color, that is. It's already blue, more gray blue, but okay. So now I'm gonna take these broad strokes that I made earlier and kind of turn them into like sort of jagged, like rocks, I guess, rock faces. So I guess this is still like a landscape, technically, obviously, but this is more of a closed, this is like more of a scenario. You feel like there's something happening here compared to just a broad, like, mountains and clouds, and this is more of a, like, there's a scene coming, or like there could be a character, like characters, like, doing something in here. So I guess that's what I'm trying to capture here. So we have the big rock sort of faces here. I have, actually, you know, I'll do that. I have, if you get a brush pack, you can get lots of, I'd suggest finding some rock textures, or, I mean, all textures, really. So I have like this one, which is one of my favorites. Oh wait, I made it on the wrong layer. Okay, now I'm using different layers, but I wasn't before. So I just basically will put it in there, stretch it around until it kind of fits. I'll throw it kind of back here a little bit. And then obviously it's still really kind of out of place, so I'll just get I'll start trimming away some of the parts that you don't need. In this case, I'd say subtlety is key. Don't go in with crazy highlights. Like, I'd get some, like, a middle. I mean, it really depends, but in this case, I'd keep it pretty subtle with how you mesh the highlights on the and the textures. I'm not using any technical terminology here, by the way. There, like that. And then just merge it all together, which I'd probably do at the end, really, but it doesn't. Like I said, I don't care too much. I'm just gonna try to highlight the rocks here in the back. And then what I would also do is once you have the sort of initial texturing in, or highlights or whatever, you can go back with an actual brush and start refining it a bit. Especially back here where I have the light source coming in. I'm going to go ahead and actually just kind of like go around these rocks here. Because the idea is the light's shining in and hitting these big rocks in the back. Most Photoshops, I use the very obscure Photoshop Elements 8. It just works really nicely for me, and I've had it for a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and actually Control or Command L. You can get to your levels, and you can just mess with the contrast and the darks and the lights. That looks really good, so I'm going to keep that. Going with my crazy texture brush. I usually use this for like mountains and stuff. So I'll go in and just add more. A lot of it is detailing. Lots of my stuff is more conceptual, so I usually keep it fairly simple, just so you know what's happening. There. Now, some atmosphere. We know that this big gate thing is probably really far away, so we're gonna go ahead and let's figure out this tone. We're gonna add in some sort of fog here and some of that light hitting the, I guess, the atmosphere here. Maybe it's like really dense in here, and keeping it really subtle again. And now, I said earlier I was gonna try to get some different colors in there. Originally this was gonna be a chasm, or what did I say, a ravine, and so I'm gonna try to keep with that. I was gonna have the daylight shining down from above, but this is more of a cave, so I might still try it though. I'll actually just make this on a different layer, just in case it doesn't look good. There we go. So I have the overlay tool. I don't know how good this is gonna look. I have the overlay tool, which doesn't, it sort of adds color without destroying the details that you have there already, thus overlaying. That doesn't look too bad. Sort of like a holy looking light from above. I might even dog's barking downstairs. That doesn't look too bad, actually. I'll keep it for the purposes of using different tools. This is the color dodge tool, which basically I just pressed on it way too hard there, but it makes I guess I'd say it highlights whatever, or like makes brighter whatever you brush over. So I think at this point we're gonna want to start adding smaller details. I'm actually going to go ahead and continue this path that we have. I'm going to use some of this brighter light, this orange light. Not so strong. just blend it all together. Might actually add some of this sort of yellowish color and then start adding it along the rocks here, just to show the light is it's coming down here. And then I'm going to open this up a little bit. Just make it slightly more interesting, cave sort of shape. I think in this case the foreground is going to be more, the rocks here will be more silhouetted with all this bright light coming from back here. You're just going to have the shadows of the rock faces up here. And then adding a little bit more of that, like that backlighting with the and then from here it's just going to be some more of the small detailing. And then with the detailing on the rocks up here, I'm just going to be really subtle. Since we have all this really stark lighting here on the edges, I'm just going to be very subtle with just the shapes of the rock face. And since this is all in shadow, all in the shadows, I should say. So it should be pretty simple. Zoom out a little bit just to get a better reference of everything. Alright, just about finished. I might add a figure here in the foreground. Just really simple, and those very silhouetted characters. Highlight the pathway to show that sometimes I will actually, if I go back to my color dodge tool, I can increase the contrast here on the ground, make it sort of look like maybe it's wet or just really shiny. Oops, wrong layer. I don't want to overdo this. Actually, I might go with the yellow. That looks good. Make it look like it's reflecting all the light. Yeah, that's cool. Lots of things you can just I find that experimenting a lot, that's where I get most of my little techniques, so just trying things out here, making the pathway look brighter or sort of shiny. It's really nice. I might add some more texture here to the walls. Maybe maybe even some of this yellow warm color. Let's just kind of stretch that down. Which I might have done. Go back to my brush and then just kind of mix or blend it all together so it doesn't look like we just dropped in some textures. I'm gonna be during the later part of the video I might not talk as much just because there's not a whole lot to talk about when you're just adding small details to everything. What I'll probably do actually is make the lower parts highlighted with the blue, like the darkness, maybe not darkness, but like the sort of cold colors of the cave, and then the higher parts will be reflecting this brighter, sort of warm yellow that's flooding in. So what I might do is use my overlay tool and just kind of go over everything. Too dark. My blue. I can go to color burn. Let's darken the foreground again. Now that I've gone over everything, I've kind of destroyed my atmosphere. So I'm going to go ahead and do a light sort of fade. Turn this back a little. And you know what? Why not? We'll add a character here. This video is getting a little bit long, so I'm gonna finish it up. I'm gonna go with the dark blue, and sort of maybe he's just wandering down the big hallway here. So I can do a quick. Just walking through here. I'm just using really broad, not broad, but I guess a very opaque brush. This guy's not trying to get too good. Let me fix him up a little bit. Maybe he's wearing a helmet or something. He's not the most proportional person that's ever existed, but I think that's probably fine. And then I will probably just add some really simple shading to him, add his shadow, otherwise he'll look silly. I guess I'll just make it going to the back of the cave since the light is in front of him. That looks okay. Alright. I think I'm just gonna end it off here. This is a really simple sort of more environmental, scenic. I don't know really how to describe it. I'll figure it out when I'm titling it. Thanks for watching though. If you, like I said, if you have ideas for more of these sort of tutorial-like videos, please you can leave a suggestion in the comments. And obviously, if you have any ideas for more speed paints, which I do way more often, then you can leave those in the comments as well on all my videos. Anyways, thanks for watching, but I'll see you in the next video.